Hey everyone, welcome back to Farming Simulator 22, back here in East Vineland, New Jersey. Hope everybody is having a wonderful week. Hope, for some of you at least, it's a short week for work, maybe for school. And if you're watching this the day that it's published, it is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving here to everyone in the United States. For the rest of you, not sure, celebrate, well, celebrate with us. You know, why not? Let's just make it a celebration for all, a festivus for the rest of us, as Mr. Costanza. What was his first name on Seinfeld? Was it, see, George's dad? Boy, that slipped my mind. And I think I had it too. Oh well. We're here on Kubota Farm, and look what I leased to try out. Oh yeah, the Lemken Solitaire 12. I figured why not? We earned it, right? Nice big cedar. In Kubota orange, I might add. Very, very nice. Actually, a really nice looking setup. It does require 180 horse. I think we're just going to use the dually for it. Our M7 is close to that, but why settle for the second largest tractor when you can have the largest of the Kubotas? Ooh, Brad, you're steering the wrong way. We are going to hop in this thing, and I'm going to tell you why, because I think we've got a lot of seed sitting in our cedar. And I figured we should probably get that seed on out of there. Now, I don't think... It'd be cool if you could go cedar to cedar, right? Like, pull up next to this guy. I guess I've really never tried it. I have to assume this isn't going to work. But that would be pretty sweet to be able to pull up next to him, run over here and say, hey, I want the seed from that cedar. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So what we'll do is, we'll drive up yonder, maybe kind of get in a little clearing right here, and we will just boop, and maybe step up a bit, boop. I don't know why it's not putting out 4 bags at a time. Oh, there's another bag. There we go. Now we're empty. All right. Oh, that's right. I have that mod installed that's use large bags instead of pallets, I guess, for emptying. I'm not quite sure why I enabled that mod. I think I was just kind of curious about it, and I enabled it for fun. Doesn't really matter because I really don't do a lot with manually loading bags and stuff like that, but oh well, it's there anyways. Let's scooch on up. Now you might be thinking, Brad, it's August. What are we seeding? Weren't we going to wait until September? Well, then I got to thinking, and that's the problem. Is I think too much. I get to thinking too much, and kind of just thought, you know what? Let's just seed this bigger field, and I think it's canola that we're dealing with. Right? I think this month is canola. It's a canola month. Yeah, it's a canola month. And wheat and barley, you know, let's just do canola. Canola looks cool anyways. That's my excuse at least. Now, if we look at our field calculator, I think we're dealing with fields 8 and 9. We are indeed. So if we look at 8 and 9, and we look at seeding canola, that's 280 basically for 8. And well, we'll just say 280 for each. So that's 560 liters, plus some for the joining of the 2 fields. So we should have more than enough right now in our seeder to accomplish this task. I do like this Lemken in Kubota Orange. I realize that is not exactly the the realistic I'm running over our poplar. I should not do that. I realize that's not necessarily realistic, but you know what? It's Kubota Farm, and we're going to use Kubota colors. Right on. So let's switch our seeder over to canola. Where is that? There it is. So canola, we indeed are seeding. What else do we need? Do we need anything else? We don't really need... I don't think crop sensors do any good for this, but you know what? We're going to turn on the crop sensor anyways. Seeder is on. Lower said seeder. We're going to do a headland all around and then probably turn on the GPS and use that. I think that's the way to go. So I wasn't sure if I was going to get an episode out for Thursday morning. I'm glad I'm able to. I kind of wanted to, so there's that. I'm trying to get... That's interesting that it turned that ground cover that way. I'm trying to get a mod video out. It may have come out already if I'm... But I'm battling our friends at YouTube right now. Trying to get the processing completed in high def. I struggle with that a lot, and I see a lot of other people struggle with that same thing. If you've never done YouTube, basically, you know, when you upload your file, your video, we'll lift that and we'll try to scooch around here and make it a little bit sharper corner. When you upload your video, YouTube does it initially in standard definition. It processes it, and then it turns around and it processes it in high def. At least that's what's supposed to happen. Recently, and I was getting away with it for a while, but recently, lower that bad boy. Recently, though, it seems like it's back again, where it'll sit there and process in high definition forever and ever. Super annoying. It's one of the reasons why I pushed my upload times back from 7 a.m. to like 10:45, 11 a.m. so that I would have a chance to fix it if I could. And sometimes you're able to fix those things by just making some minor changes to your description, or you know, to the video itself or something. If you make some minor changes, sometimes it forces the YouTube algorithm to turn around and finish the processing. I have not been that fortunate this evening, however, with my mod video, which is weird because it's a small video compared to, you know, file size. Comparatively speaking, so kind of weird, but gonna try and get that out. I hate sending it out in standard def because it's not just standard def, it's 360p. It looks horrible, very grainy, very pixelated, in my opinion not very pleasant to watch. So I am gonna try and get that resolved, but yeah, probably gonna be a bit of a short episode, but an episode none the least. Let's go ahead and get our GPS started here. See if we can't give myself a little bit of help. That actually looks pretty good. I might scooch it over. Nope, wrong way. I'm going to scooch it over this way just a little bit, just to give some fudge room there. And let's lower our seeder, and off we go. So how about a little Thanksgiving Day story time? Now, I am going to stay straight, by the way, and I'll come back and fill in that gap. I don't want to deal with this little curve every time, so we're just going to straighten this thing out, and I'll fill in our missing segment there. So here's a little story for you. I don't know why I thought of this. It really doesn't have, well, I wouldn't say it doesn't have anything to do with Thanksgiving. because it kind of does, because it reminds me a bit of... Have any of you seen the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? One of my favorite holiday movies of all time, for sure. That and Christmas Vacation. I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Some old school stuff from some comedy legends. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you check it out. It's very enjoyable. It's family friendly. It's good stuff. So, well, most of it's family friendly. So this story, the reason why it kind of reminds me of that is because it's something I could see happening in this movie. So it was, in fact, around Thanksgiving. I think it actually was around the holidays. And I was traveling at the time with my new wife, in fact. And we'd probably been married, I think, maybe for just a few days. This was flying out to the East Coast for our honeymoon. Going out to Cape Cod and just doing a fall. It had to have been before Thanksgiving because it wasn't that late in the year. I guess that doesn't really matter. But anyways. So we're flying out to Boston, and then we're going to pick up a car rental, and we'll drive out to Cape Cod, and we were going to spend the week out on Cape Cod. We both enjoyed vacations like bed and breakfast type of thing, and love the ocean, and just never been out to the East Coast. And beautiful if you've never been out there, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. Cape Cod is absolutely beautiful, and if you love ocean stuff, if you love seafood, I'm not the biggest seafood fan, but if you can get fresh seafood, especially crab or lobsters, a crab? Yeah, crab. And we went whale watching, which, by the way, I thought was kind of a lame touristy thing to do, but it was absolutely epic. We were fortunate enough to see a couple of whales, and it was one of the most stunning things I've ever seen in my life. But let me get on with the good part of the story. You don't want to just hear about... It's not like slideshow time, where I'm telling you about... And here on this slide, you can see we took a photo of... Yeah, it's not... Let's not make it that. So we are on the way there, mind you. And, oh, look what I did to our poplar. I am so going to fix that. That's going to drive me crazy. I left the planter down. Oh, I'm fixing that. That's not even... No way is that going to stay. Nope. Nope. That's going to drive me crazy. So we were in the airport. If I remember correctly, it was... We were flying out of Chicago, O'Hare. And I was young, very young. And not cocky, but certainly not without a possible attitude, and certainly more than willing to share my opinions or feelings publicly. And we were standing in, you know how you have the lines that go up to the ticket counter? And they're separated. The lines are separated with those line separators that are like ribbons. Like there's a pole and there's a ribbon that stretches between the pole. And so we're just kind of standing there, and there's several people in front of us. It's pretty busy. And everybody's standing there, and then when the line moves, people, pick up their bags or pick up their luggage and move forward, a few feet, and then you set your stuff back down and wait for the next time you can move forward and set your stuff down. And there was a lady, I don't remember if she was with anybody, but there was a lady in front of us with a couple of crates, and there were cats in these crates. Now, I don't dislike cats. I'm a dog person, though. Okay? I mean, I'm going to be flat out honest with you. I think dogs are a far superior animal. But I don't hate cats. Some of my friends have had some really cool cats. But they've been a lot like dogs, and that's why they're cool. Anyways, this lady had a couple cat crates. She had cats in them, and they were just whining and whining and whining. So I took it upon myself, probably louder than I should have, to say to my new bride some smart comments about, great, everybody complains about babies on planes being loud. Now we get to listen to these stupid cats whining, knowing darn well that the cats weren't going to be in the, cabin. They were probably, they'd be checked where they put pets and stuff, right? I was hoping in a non... no, I don't want to get mean. No. I'm sure they were stowed away in a luggage compartment that had, that was, had, what do they call it, compressed or whatever, you know what I'm saying. Well, apparently the universe did not appreciate my my attitude, because the line moved ahead. I grabbed my bag. I started walking forward, not realizing that the person in front of me hadn't picked up their bag yet. And I tripped over the bag. Now, that would have been bad enough, but I tripped over the bag, and I dropped my bag, and I reached out with both of my hands to catch myself on the ribbon, the separating ribbon, that has a pole on each end of it. Well, they make those things so that they're not stationary. They're movable, so they can adjust the lines and stuff like that. Well, the pole, each pole on each end came together. So as I grabbed the ribbon and fell forward with the ribbon in my hand, the pole on my right and the pole on my left came together perfectly on my nose and smashed, I mean smashed me in the face, almost perfectly on my nose. I started bleeding. If you've ever had, you know how bad noses can bleed? I had a gusher, and I am bleeding profusely and in pain. I thought I had broken my nose. They had to call, on top of that, they had to call airport medical staff to come over and the whole 9 yards. And of course, my wife at the time, my new bride, found that quite satisfying. I'm sure. I will give her credit. I don't think she ever broke out laughing, but I'm pretty sure she had a pretty little nice smirky smile on her face, knowing that I had gotten my rewards for being smart and loud and obnoxious. And that is my somewhat, I guess you would say, holiday traveling story. I ended up actually not having too severe, like, black eye. I didn't really have two black eyes or anything like that. I was fortunate, I think, that it actually hit me mostly on the bridge of the nose. And I don't recall. Looks like I got pretty good coverage here, actually. I don't recall it being too significant after. But I learned my lesson. I will say there was no question in my mind, and I'm certain everyone around me, there was absolutely no question that it was the universe telling me to shut up and not be so smart and loud and annoying. So there you go. That is my holiday travel story. I would love to hear if any of you have any fun holiday traveling stories as well. Yeah, I can still almost, it was like in slow motion when I grabbed that ribbon. I can still almost see out of the corners of my eyes each pole being pulled towards me, and knowing that this was gonna hurt. So not only did I get the poles to the face, but I also, of course, landed on the floor. I don't recall it much happening with that, like as far as pain goes. Landing on the floor. I kind of want to see this thing on full, but regardless, it was a painful experience, one that I would never want to repeat. Every time I travel, or I go to an event, or I'm at the amusement park or something like that, and I see those. Let's go ahead and roll this. We leased our roller, we might as well use it, right? And I see those line separators. Yeah, right away it hits me. Was not fun in any way, shape, or form. I still don't really like cats, but, but I'm not going to say much about that anymore. I always wondered, because I never did find out, I guess, or really see what the cat lady, I never really figured out or found out if she heard me, if I was loud enough for her to hear me. I was too busy bleeding all over the place and being totally humiliated to even look at her. I would love to meet her and ask her today. I would have to believe that she would have to remember, at least remember a dude wrecking himself in an airport waiting line, ticket line. But I would be curious to find out if she had heard me and saw me and then picked up her cats with a big smile and went on her merry way. I do believe we made the plane. I don't think we missed our plane. I believe, and this was before 9/11. Yeah, it was actually. It was before 9/11. So you didn't have, quite as bad of, airport security that you had to spend a lot of time waiting in line for security and stuff. So I'm pretty sure we. I don't remember missing our plane at all. And in fact, I do remember on the way back getting a free upgrade to first class. And that is absolutely the first time I ever, and the only time I have ever flown first class was from Boston Logan Airport. I think we came back, if I remember right, we flew first class. Oh, I remember now. We flew from Boston to, like, if it was St. Louis, it was something weird, like St. Louis or Cincinnati or some other airport, probably because tickets were cheaper that way or something. Because we didn't get to fly first class the whole way. We only got to fly first class, and it wasn't that long of a flight. But it was first class, and it was very enjoyable. Like I said, it's the only time, and probably will be the only time I will ever fly first class. So there was some good that came out of that, other than just being, honeymoon and whatnot. It was, like I said, Cape Cod is a beautiful place. If you ever have a chance to go, highly recommend it. At least, many years ago it was quite nice. So probably still is. Seem to remember, I don't know, there's just something about, like, for me, there's something about large bodies of water. Like, I live not too far from Lake Michigan, but I'm not not my favorite of the Great Lakes. My favorite of the Great Lakes would definitely be Superior. I love Lake Superior. Anytime I have a reason to, an excuse to, go to Lake Superior, and I just think it's one of the prettier of the Great Lakes. It's got some nice, beautiful rocky shores, things like that. I'm a big fan of it. I love watching the storms come in off the lake. And I haven't spent a lot of time out in the ocean. I wish I could. I would love to. I've never seen the Atlantic Ocean. I'm sorry, Pacific Ocean. I always have to remember Atlantic, Pacific, but yeah, that's right? Because Pacific is west. Please tell me I'm not that clueless. As my brother says, get a GED. That might help. But yeah, I remember the ocean being at the tide and just everything, and the smell of the ocean was excellent. Of course, kind of touristy, you know, a little on the touristy side, but nonetheless, very beautiful. And went out to, is it Provincetown? That is on the very edge, or the very tip of the peninsula. You can kind of walk out to the beach out on Provincetown and like stand like right on the very tip of that peninsula, so you almost have ocean, you know, around you. Not completely around you, obviously, but you certainly have really nice view. Provincetown was a cool little town too. Like I said, kind of touristy, but also quite beautiful. So I figured, you know, we leased our roller, we might as well use our roller and roll out this crop. We do need to fertilize our canola and get that taken care of as well, which we can take care of here. And then our planting season is done unless we take on a contract or something. And then it's going to be another, I would call it maybe contract season through the winter. Make sure our animals are taken care of, and we'll be good to go. I am definitely going to fix my mistake over there with our poplar. That is not a lot of things bug me when it comes to the whole imperfect field thing. I'm not like super uptight about missing little spots if I'm fertilizing or rolling or whatever. But that right there, yeah, that I can't do that. Because not only, actually, then that tells me then that Lemken is a direct drill seeder, because it would not have done that, I guess, right? If it weren't. But I can't leave that, because we're going to have poplar in that whole field, and then we're going to have that little half moon of canola growing. That's not good. It's not good at all. Oh, man. I'm not going to cut it out. I'm not going to re-record. I'm just going to let y'all see my blunder. If that's the worst mistake I make this episode, I'll feel pretty good. I'll feel pretty good. Feel pretty successful, if I'm being honest. Ay. Like I said, you know, I mean, traveling is fun. I've never been a big traveler. Like, I don't long to travel a lot. I guess I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't decline, you know, an opportunity to travel more. But I have friends that are a lot more like really love to travel. Like, they just every chance they get, they will, you know, they'll try to find some place to travel to and stuff like that. I do regret not traveling more when I was younger and didn't have, you know, I guess you would say, things tying me down more, and with kids and job and stuff like that. I do regret not taking more advantage of that. And you always hear about these, call them kids, but young adults, I guess, taking off and traveling and backpacking and hiking and all this other stuff, and kind of feel a little bit jealous about that. That actually sounds pretty awesome, you know. But at the same time, in today's world, it also sounds a little scary, if I'm being honest too. A lot of weirdos out there. I don't know what I would say if my kids came up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, you know that thing we were talking about, that college thing? No, might put that off for a while. I just want to see the Earth. I want to travel." And honestly, I don't know. You know, I mean, if I'm being honest about that, I probably wouldn't object. I don't think I would. I think I guess as long as it was not, you know, something crazy, I don't think I'd object to it. I think I'd say, you know what? Go for it. You know? It's your chance to, you know, to see more stuff and meet more people and see different cultures, and maybe that's a healthy thing. You know, maybe that's a good thing. Experience other ways of living, experience other, you know, just different cultures and things, and just finding out what people, other areas of the world, shoot, even other areas of the United States. I wish I had seen more of our own country, let alone the world. The only time I've ever been, other than Canada, I lived in Canada for a few years when I was quite a bit younger. But other than Canada, I've only been outside the States one time, and that was Norway. And that was in high school with our band. I went to a fairly large high school in Minnesota, and was basically majoring in music for the most part in high school. In fact, I had my guidance counselor when I was picking out my classes. I remember she said to me, Mr. Brad, we don't, I think she actually called me Mr. Brad too. It was kind of annoying. Mr. Brad, we don't allow students to major in any particular study here. This is high school. You need to get your general education in. And I disagreed with her. I disagreed with her. And took as much music as I could. That was my major, you know, music ed. Not my job. Things changed there, but I wanted as much music education as I could before I went to college, because I knew that's what I was going to school for. And why not then? I wasn't going to school to, you know, to do anything else. I knew exactly what I wanted to study, and I was fortunate enough actually that our high school had a lot of music-centered classes. I was very fortunate, and it was a big enough school to where we had a very, very good music program. And I think it was my sophomore year, I think, actually. My sophomore or junior, I can't remember. I think it was my sophomore year. There was a group called the Sons of Norway. I have no idea if they're still around or not, but they were called the Sons of Norway, and they sponsored our trip to Norway, our band. And we did a bunch of fundraising beforehand, and raise as much money as we could, and I can't imagine all the planning that went into it, but we actually ended up going to Norway. We took I think it was a DC-10 there, a 747 on the way back. It scares me very badly that we took a DC-10. I like the plane, but I've also seen enough Mayday air disasters to know that DC-10s had a couple problems that I don't want anything to do with. Their cargo doors had a tendency to blow off, which is never a good thing when you're 35,000 feet in the air. But yeah, DC-10 there, 747 back. We stayed in youth hostels. We stayed with families. Different families sponsored us, so we got to stay with different families there. One family I stayed with, we were paired up in groups, so it was you had a buddy with you. The guy that I was buddied with, I really didn't know very well, and that was our band director. You know, I really liked the guy, I really did, and I respected him a lot, but he's just one of those dudes that's like, well, of course I'm going to partner you with somebody you don't really know. That's half the fun of it. No, that's not half the fun of it. Half the fun of it is me hanging out with my buddies that I do know, and probably knew that we would get in a lot more trouble too. So I absolutely don't blame him for his planning. In fact, I'm certain that's what kept us out of trouble many times. So I stayed with this guy, and actually we did become friends, so maybe my band director knew something. And we stayed with this American family one time in Oslo. I think we were in Oslo, if I remember right. Maybe not, though. I forget what city it was. Doesn't really matter. But we were there. We ended up staying with an American family that he was a I forget what military branch he was in. If it was Navy or I forget what it was. Really, really nice American family. He had a Ford Mustang. We were so geeked about this because everybody there was so nice to us and so good to us. But the food, when you stayed with Norwegian families, they do eat differently. They eat a lot more healthy than what I was used to at the time, that's for sure. And so we hooked up with this American family, and of course we ate like kings because we ate what stuff that we were used to. And he got tickets to an Eric Clapton concert, an outdoor stadium. So we were taken to see Eric Clapton outdoors in Norway. Now, at the time, it was cool, but it didn't mean as much to me as it does now, as it would now. And I'm not a huge Eric Clapton fan. And I apologize if I'm offending anybody out there that's like, Clapton rules, go Cream. It's just that it's not me. It's not me. But it was wonderful. Absolutely memorable, epic in every way. Absolutely fantastic. I would go back to Norway in a heartbeat. You would not have to convince me for more than a second to travel back to Norway. Norway is an absolutely gorgeous country. I do forget what time of the year we were there. It had to have been summer. You know what it was? Because was it summer? I forget. I do remember though. I apologize. I don't have better memory recall on this, but it stayed light like 23 hours of the day. And every place we stayed, the houses had these black shades that they would pull down to block out the light. So it really never got dark. So maybe that'll tell you what time of the year we were there. Tour buses and the whole 9 yards, and it was just an epic event. Very, very fortunate. I have no idea how much it cost my parents. I know that they had to shell out some bucks for that. And we weren't rich. I mean, we were middle class, but we weren't upper, I mean, and I just can't thank them enough for doing that, because I know that I just took that for granted when I was that age. You know, of course I'm going to go to Norway. Of course I'm going to go with the band. And oh, it's going to cost mom and dad $1,500. I mean, at the time, that's a lot of money. I seem to remember it being even sponsored, and with all the fundraising, I seem to remember it was several $100s that parents had to put in. And my mom and dad never flinched. Never even optioned that I wouldn't go, you know. Gotta love parents like that, right? Something to be very thankful for on Thanksgiving, that's for sure. Wonderful parents. Loving, wonderful parents. Well, this is going on a little longer than I expected, but I'm kind of into it now. I'm kind of in the mood, so I hope you all don't mind if this does actually go over time a little bit. It's been kind of fun talking to y'all about this stuff. I don't know why. I didn't even think that I would get into some of this, but I'm enjoying this quite a bit. I get to enjoy and get to playing the game and get to enjoying it. And can get yapping and off to the races. Hey, Tin Man, see all those trees right there? We might be chopping some of those down for you. I've got a subscriber and a commenter who clearly enjoys the lumber part of Farming Simulator. A enjoys it much more than I do, and B is much better at it than I am as well, obviously. And I was thinking about that, though, that there are a lot of trees out here on East Vineland. It wouldn't hurt for us to do a little chopping sometime, and maybe we will do some of that. I was kind of hoping that I have the... stop this here. I have the Platinum DLC activated here. And I thought, you know, wouldn't it be cool if you had the Platinum DLC activated and you could get contracts, lumber contracts, you know? That'd be cool to have lumber contracts on other maps other than Silver Run. I think our rolling is donezo, so we can return this thing. We could keep it and let's return it. I honestly forget if I have the lease to own mod or not, but let's return that. The Lemken. Let's go ahead and get this taken care of while we're at it too. We do need to fertilize as well. And actually we could. Let's do this. If I get interrupted too many times, I start forgetting what I'm doing, and I always forget that we have our water and milk tanker sitting right there too. And I'm trying to remember. I think I got that because I couldn't really, when I was planning Kubota Farm, I couldn't really think of something better. There weren't really any tanker trailers or anything that were kind of Kubota-like, and that goes on the back of our Kubota pickup. And I thought, well, that'll work, you know. So what I'm planning here is we can go up over yonder here and we can unload the seed that is in this planter. And we can return. I like that planter. I think this might be something we will purchase when we get enough money in the bank. And get it in this beautiful Kubota orange. I think that'll work out really nice for us. It's a nice large planter for our needs. So yeah, I don't know if any of you have been outside the country or anything. There's other countries I would love to go visit, but I would not, like I said, I wouldn't, whoops. Actually, we've got our M5 over here hooked up to our, yeah. I wouldn't hesitate to go back to Norway. Just gorgeous. We did mostly, I think, if I remember right, southern, kind of the southern loop around Norway, if I remember correctly. And I do know that we flew into Oslo and left from there as well. I can't remember. I'd have to look on a map, but yeah, you know, just overall though, the biggest things I remember about Norway was, of course, the beautiful country, beautiful little towns that you see that are just so picturesque. They're like, you know, like you see those towns where, you know, they still have old architecture and just absolutely fantastic. But there's so many places too in the United States that I would still love to see that I haven't been to. I've never been to the Grand Canyon, you know? I mean, that seems like a gimme. Let's turn on our, let's see here, turn on crop sensor. Let's just go ahead and do that. Might as well. And let's hit it. Let's fertilize. Let's fertilize. Never been out to the West Coast. If I did go out to the West Coast, I feel like I would be a little more apt to do the Northwest. Just more my style, I think. Seattle. I mean, I'd love to visit Montana. I'm a little more northern person, just because heat drives me crazy. I'm not a big hot weather fan, and I don't care if it's a dry hot. I don't care if it's dry or a wet hot. It's hot, and I'm just not a fan of that. So I would rather just, you know what, I'm gonna just get rid of GPS and we're just gonna eyeball it. Wow, out of fertilizer. Giddy up. But yeah, I would love to still spend some time out there. Love to go up to like British Columbia. I think it'd be beautiful up there. A friend of mine and we have talked about, what do we have here? This is lime on this side, but this is fertilizer over here, is it not? Stop, Brad. Stop, stop, stop. Yeah, that's fertilizer, right? A friend of mine is a he does a lot with well, he's got an old Pontiac. Oh, he would kill me if I got this wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna get it wrong. I'm not even gonna say it. 1970 something, fully restored, mint. Beautiful, beautiful condition. He's worked on it for many years. As long as I've known the guy, up until he got married, never drove anything newer than 1976, maybe 77. Anyways, we have talked about doing the old Route 66 trip, hopping in his car, and it's a start in Chicago, I think. If you're talking about the north, I think it starts up somewhere in Chicago. I think it's like right in downtown Chicago, I think I looked that up. We've talked about doing that. Thought it would be a lot of fun, you know, to do something like that. I think just an excuse, really, if I'm being honest. It's more just to have an excuse to just get in the car and do a road trip. We've been friends since well, high school. Yeah. And no matter where I've moved or he's moved, we've always stayed in touch. We're probably in touch. What was that? That was kind of weird. A little skip there. We probably stay in touch at least almost every day, if not every other day, with texting and stuff. I think I was driving at a bit of a slant there. Yeah, I got a little section over here. You can see I wasn't exactly a straight line there. I think we'll have enough to get our field fertilized here and get that done. Not much to see inside. See some solid fertilizer being spread over there. Oh, good. Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay, that's what I saw. It just stops because it doesn't need to spread right there, I guess. Well, good deal. I think we're in pretty good shape. I think I might have missed a little bit over on the edge over here. We could do a little driving over here just to get that. Did I miss that, or is that just a... Yeah, I did miss that. Little spot, little edge jobs over here we can hit. That's funny. That's where we join the fields. And it just must not need any fertilizer right through there. Well, let's turn off our spreader. We got that taken care of. So our field has been rolled. I think it's pretty good shape with lime. Yeah, it is good. So our pH is good. Our fertilizer is good. We rolled it. It says weeds are growing, so we're probably going to have to, at some point, boy, we're close to our max yield on this, which is good. So we'll probably have to deal with weeds at some point. And needs plowing. Boy, that bugs me. Perennial. That's the word I was looking for the last time I was talking about this, right? So you have perennial and you have annual. Yeah. This is not good. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to fix that. I'll fix it the easy way or the hard way, but either way I'm going to fix that because that's really going to drive me crazy. Wow. Ay. Well, gone over longer than I was expecting. I apologize if things have gotten drawn out a bit for y'all. If you're still with me, I really appreciate it. But I think we have taken care of everything we need to this episode. I'll take care of fixing our poplar offline here and let you guys go, guys and gals. And I wish you the very, very best of a Thanksgiving holiday. And for those of you, like I said, who aren't in the States and celebrating Thanksgiving, well, I wish you a tremendous Thursday anyways, for sure. Have some turkey if you're not in the States, just to celebrate our Thanksgiving Day. And watch some football and enjoy yourselves, and most importantly, relax and be safe. So thanks again, everyone, for joining me here on Kubota Farm. Take care of yourselves, and let's make sure, most importantly, that we take care of each other. And I will see you back here. Hopefully Friday, I will have a Kubota lined up. If you don't see me Friday, know that I was still in turkey coma. So otherwise, I will see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Oh, tonight, Throwback Thursday. Looking forward to that. All right, everyone. I'll see you soon. Take care.